All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Dead Film Critics Society. As always, I'm here with my beautiful co-host Aiden, um, and today we have a guest with us.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
I don't know how to introduce you exactly, Colin. Obviously, I've just said your name, but I don't know.
There
Do you
you
want to?
go. You
Yeah, yeah. I
you
basically
did it.
I did it. I know.
Good job.
It's insane how I was able to do that so easily. Um, but yeah, we have Colin here.
Hi.
Um, I don't know. Would you want to say anything about yourself, or like I don't know, maybe your taste in movies a little bit, just so viewers have an idea of like what to expect from you as we discuss these movies, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I'm definitely not that much of an extensive movie buff by any stretch, but I definitely love watching a bunch of different kind of movies. Mostly my favorites are probably more action adventure things, but yeah, I usually try and take an in-depth look at movies and look at them from different perspectives, and hopefully, yeah, we'll have some good conversation.
Yeah, and I guess that's all we ever hope to do
Yeah,
here on the
exactly.
podcast. So we are going to be talking about two different movies today, which the title should have done, unless I completely messed up the title. But I'm pretty sure I'm not that dumb. We'll be talking about Vivo, a and Fractured. So, which movie do you want to start with? What are we thinking?
I don't know. I
Whichever.
mean, I kind of want to start with Vivo, to be honest.
You want
I
to start
mean,
with Vivo?
yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's start with Vivo. All right. So, I'm going to quickly describe the movie, both in its cast and crew, quickly, and also its a little bit of its plot. So, Vivo is a 2021 film directed by Kirk D'Amico, director of The Croods, starring Lin Manuel Miranda, Yanarli Simo, Zoe Saladana, Juan de Marcos Gonzalez, and Brian Tyree Henry. It was written by Peter Barshaccini, who wrote the High School Musical movies I just saw. Also
What?
written by Kirk D'Amico,
Damn.
the director, and then Kira Algieri Hoods, who helped write the book for In the Heights. Um, and you know of In the Heights. In the Heights is
Mm-hmm.
another Lin Manuel Miranda musical. So yeah, this is very much a Lin Manuel Miranda project. The premise is Vivo, Sony Pictures Animation's first ever musical adventure featuring all original songs from Manuel Miranda will take audiences on an epic adventure to gorgeous and vibrant locations never before seen in animation. In this case, Cuba. That doesn't really describe the plot. I'll just quickly describe the plot. It's basically a monkey and a girl who are kind of alone in their own worlds find a connection and uh, unite to try to deliver a song from to a woman from a man who loved her but never got to say it, and the song kind of says that, and they need to go to Miami, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the premise of it.
That's a
Um,
good description right there. That's for sure.
yeah, so I don't know, Colin, what is your experience with like animated movies?
Um, Not too much, but I mean, I've seen my fair share, and I mean, this is actually one I really liked. I didn't know what to expect going into it, but it actually for a kids animated movie, it really actually was quite enjoyable to watch.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, I have to agree there. I mean, can I just say, yo, all the songs were like super catchy. Like, I don't know what's up with Lin-Manuel Miranda, but that guy is just like a genius when it comes to writing catchy songs. I'm surprised he hasn't penned any like top 40 hits yet. I mean, he's done a really good job. He did a really good job with the soundtrack. I like all the musical numbers. I mean, I think the animation was also really well done. Yeah, like especially those scenes in like Miami looked fantastic. I don't know what you think about that though.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Funny, like this, just the idea that they had to go to Miami reminded me. I don't know if you remember that video. I feel like Aiden, you might have seen this at some point. It's it's like I'm trying to remember. It's like it's supposed to be a reenactment of LeBron after like Game Two of some series, and that one of them's like LeBron, where are you going? And it's obviously not LeBron, but he's like to Miami. I don't know if you ever seen that. in like a really like
Oh, and no, I know what you mean.
you
Yeah,
know what I'm
it's
talking about?
yeah, no, they're like it's like a parody of that Will Smith song. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. I just thought of that throughout the movie a little bit, just because the whole idea was just basically that they had to get to Miami.
You know what I'm talking about? And they even got bloody what's it called, Gloria Estefan, which is like she's known for popularizing like that whole like Miami style like Latin music, right? So I mean, I think that was a smart move for sure to get her in there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the only other cast member other than Lin-Manuel Miranda that I knew of was Brian Tyree Henry. I
What
don't
about
know
Zoe Saldana?
who was he?
Zoe Saldana, dude, that's Gamora.
Oh yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
bro. I
you
don't like.
disappoint me.
I didn't remember like any of the members of the Guardians except like
You
I
guys
barely.
didn't remember Michael Rooker in this as
Oh
well?
yeah, I remember Michael Rooker as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was.
I was hyped to see him.
Yeah,
As the
no, there's
snake.
no way you could
Yeah,
like
he was the
mistake
snake.
his voice for anybody else. To be honest.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he's just got that gravelly, like snarky voice. It's just fantastic.
Who's
It
he?
Great.
fit perfectly for the character. He was
Oh
the snake.
yeah,
Who is he
yeah.
played? In
He
like.
plays the
Oh, he
Anaconda.
plays Yondu. Okay.
Oh
And he
yeah,
plays.
yeah,
And he
yeah. In
plays.
Guardians of the
Okay.
Galaxy.
Yeah, because I didn't recognize the voice personally, and I now okay. So he plays Yondu. He was in F9 for some reason, which I did end up seeing, and he also was in the Suicide Squad, which I did end up seeing. But I
Yep.
have no idea who he played in the Suicide Squad. But yeah, I know I definitely liked his voice. I thought he was pretty fun as the Snake.
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job with that. Um, which kind of leads to me to like one of my complaints about this movie. I didn't really like the character design, I have to say. I think while the animation itself is solid, and I think the lighting's pretty good throughout. I mean, Roger Deakins, who's pretty known as a
Consulted.
cinematographer, who helped consult
Yeah.
on the visuals. But the character
That's
designs
crazy.
themselves I didn't really like, especially the humans, but also I didn't really like the design of the snake. I thought it was,
No,
I don't know, it
I
was a
will
bit
agree with you there.
weird.
I think the
Yeah.
snake's teeth seemed a little bit too big. You know, it
The
seemed more
shape of
like
his head was also just a really odd choice. It was like
it actually
kind
kind
of
of seemed like they were
boxy.
trying to morph Michael Rooker into a snake. They just turned his head into a snake's head, to be honest.
And maybe that's what they were kind of trying to do is they were trying to make the characters look like the people playing them a little bit. Who did Zoe
Yeah.
Saldana play? The mom? Did like the Do you know who Zoe Saldana played?
Yeah, she was the mom.
He was a mom. Okay, so I was right
Yeah.
in that. So I don't know. Because, like, I'm trying to think. Did they try to turn Lin-Manuel Miranda into a
I
monkey?
can't get you.
I can't get you.
I don't know. I didn't really see that. I thought that Vivo's character design wasn't too bad. I actually thought it was probably the best one out of the entire movie. I wasn't the biggest fan of the humans myself, you know, especially like the what's it called, Marta. I didn't like her character design, which is obviously Andrea's long lost unrequited love. So I mean,
Yeah, I
I,
also
I
didn't
didn't
really
think that. I
like.
thought that was probably the worst one. If I'm being
I
honest
didn't
about it.
like Andrea's design that much either. I think the design I liked
Yeah.
the most was. Luckily, the main two characters was Vivo and. What was her name? Gabby. I thought they were both
Yeah.
solid. Um, I don't know. What did you think? Like, Colin, have you like seen anything that Lin-Manuel Miranda's worked on before? Maybe
Other
watched
than
Hamilton.
Hamilton, no.
Okay.
I've seen
Um,
bits of Hamilton, and
right.
mostly the music side of it rather than
So
the
that's your
actual.
like only exposure to him. Did you see? You
Yeah.
didn't see Moana.
Oh, I have seen that. I didn't
Okay,
know he
so
was in
because he
that.
worked on the songs for that.
Oh yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that yeah. Yeah. He's been doing a lot this year. Because he helped. So In the Heights was supposed to be a pretty big movie. Didn't do as well as I hoped, but still got pretty good critical reception. He helped produce and had a small role in that. He has this film, which I thought he helped to write the screenplay. I guess that was wrong. Um, um, he ended up just doing the songs and then was the star of this. He's also
Yeah.
directing his own movie for the first time called Tick Tick Boom. That's been getting some Oscar hype. And then he's also doing another Disney movie called Encanto. I don't know if you've heard the idea of that, Colin.
I have not heard about that one at all,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay. Well, it got a trailer released a couple weeks ago, and I guess I don't know. It's just kind of curious to see because obviously me and Aiden are on top of these things all the time, so we're kind of seeing like especially when a big studio has stuff out, we always know about it. But it's also kind of interesting to see for people who aren't seeking out purposely if they get exposed to it. So I don't know if that's maybe obviously it's just one, just you,
Yeah.
but and I don't know how many other people have seen it, but that could be a sign to see how good that does. And obviously, like you hadn't heard of this project before, I'm assuming, but you are like a somewhat frequent Netflix user. I don't know how often.
Yeah, I'd say so, but
Yeah.
definitely not with this kind of movie. So,
Right. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is also like Sony Pictures Animation. So they did. Did you watch Spider-Verse?
yeah, I have a.
Yeah, so they are the studio behind that, and they've done a lot of movies this year. Did you hear of?
I think they've been killing it so far, to be honest with you. I
They've
mean,
done, yeah. I mean, they've had
yeah.
a good amount of movies this year.
Yeah.
Overall, like their overall filmography, I'd say is a little weak.
Well, of
Overall,
course, because you've got the Smurfs movies in there. What do you expect? That's going to bring
oh yeah,
down any studio's filmography.
even
So,
if I like, well, because I wouldn't count that necessarily because it's not fully animated.
no, but
It's
they did a fully animated Smurfs movie at Sony as well, but that also didn't do very well. So,
yeah, but like
yeah.
they did they're good projects that come from Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who were
Yeah,
behind the Lego
exactly.
Movie.
Yeah.
Were helped
Lego.
were
Oh, don't forget
behind
the Lego
Spider Verse.
Batman movie.
And which one?
The Lego Batman movie. Can't forget about that one.
That's a Warner Brothers one.
That's Warner Bros.
Yeah, Warner Brothers
How
owns
does that even
DC
work? That's just strange.
because they own that
Okay,
IP.
yeah, I know, but still, I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like the same animation style. It's just done by a different. It's done by basically the same people, just by a different company. I don't know. I
yeah,
just don't see a lot of stuff
yeah.
like that
Like
happening.
Phil Lord and Christopher Miller have worked with both Sony and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Um, and they've been working with Sony a little more now, which I think is a good sign for them. But
Yeah,
also
I mean, those guys are
they've
probably gonna save Sony Pictures Animation. To be honest with
yeah,
you, I mean, it wasn't exactly in the best state before they got there, so good for
yeah.
them.
They've
Nice
definitely
job, boys.
started a trend in making movies for Netflix specifically. I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard of Mitchell's versus Machines, Colin. Have you?
I think I've heard of it. I'm not sure if I watched it though.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
That did. It did. I would recommend it. I think me and
No, yeah,
you definitely
it's
both liked
fantastic,
it. Most
Colin.
people
Seriously.
like it.
Yeah.
It's. I'd say it's definitely better than Vivo. Um, it's a pretty good movie. It's also on Netflix, and
Yeah.
it's also like I know. It's just interesting to see the direction Sony's going, both in like quality and the fact that they released 3 Netflix like projects in like 1 year, versus like which is like a lot, frankly, like compared to like most other studios. Like this is like definitely the most projects like I've ever seen a studio release in this short period of time because they've released 3 movies between April and March. April and August, which is not a lot of time. Obviously, I'm assuming a couple of these were supposed to come out last year, but
Hmm.
like compared to like Pixar and Disney, who only release like 1 movie each year, usually, or maybe 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see how many projects they got released in this short period of time, and I'm assuming it's obviously not going to stay this way, but also I'm maybe thinking that the quality of maybe Vivo and probably the other movie that got released, Wish Dragon, which we haven't mentioned yet, might have been taken down a little bit by how rushed, like how many movies they tried to release in this amount of time. Because obviously they've probably been working on it a good amount. Because I feel like animation is one of the easiest things to try to transfer to like a COVID safe environment, especially when the pandemic was at its highest. Um,
Yeah, it's true.
but I don't know, just kind of interesting to see that. What did you guys think of like the main characters? I guess like specific, so like Lin Manuel Miranda's Vivo, and then
Yeah.
Gabby.
I mean, I liked Vivo as a character. You know, I think it's like I think it's funny how like literally nobody else can understand him, but he's just like basically just acting like he can speak to them. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. It's an interesting little character thing that they got going there. The one thing I want to say about like Gabby because I actually like her as a character, but I kind of feel like the whole dead dad subplot just kind of comes a little bit out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know. Is that just me? Or I just felt like it was a bit rushed in there. I don't know, but just
Didn't
kind
really
of.
feel like it served a purpose other than
Yeah,
at
I
the
was gonna.
very
Yeah,
end.
exactly. Like it just kind of pops up there, and then it's addressed like twice in the movie. It's like like once where like the mom is leaving to go find Gabby, and she looks at the picture of her dad, and he's like, "Oh, I guess he's dead." And then like by the end of the movie, where like Gabby's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, dad would have let me be myself," and then like, "Yeah, I know I'm not him, but I'm trying my best here, kiddo." Like
Yeah, I
I just
found it a bit strange how they used that
yeah,
entire like narrative for the
yeah,
whole like meaning why she went on the whole like adventure on the first place. Like there was
yeah,
no mention of it until at the very end, and it's kind of just thrown in there.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say I don't think yeah, I don't think it's like that well handled. I would say I think what they were trying to do is say like these two characters like Gabby and Vivo are being united by their loss, because obviously
yeah,
Vivo saw Andreas's character as his father, and he passes away, so they're kind of united by the fact that they don't really have, well, Vivo just straight up doesn't have any parental figure, and then Gabby kind of lost the one she appeared to have the most connection with.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think. What did you guys think? Because there was definitely a little bit of comedy within this film. I don't know what you guys thought of that overall. Like, did you
Um,
laugh at all?
I found
I
it a bit
laughed a couple
childish.
times, but I don't know. I was mainly
Yeah,
just there for the songs, if I'm being honest with you. I was totally psyched when those came on. I was like, dancing around in my chair, having a good time, But like, I don't know. I don't think the jokes were like the most sophisticated for an animation movie. I've definitely seen better ones and like other projects, like like the Lego Movie or Mitchell's versus the Machines. That one in particular, I think made me laugh like the most in like I think in forever, like watching an animated movie, I can't remember the last time I laughed that hard. But like this one was just kind of, its jokes were kind of run of the mill. They were more centered towards like kids. They weren't exactly like there weren't too many jokes that maybe like an older audience could like really like laugh at. Which has kind of seemed to be a trend in more animated movies these days. I just didn't really think like there was anything too special about the jokes. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
laughed a couple times, I would say. Yeah, I definitely
Which
don't
one
think
made you
it's.
laugh?
The long dirt nap, which is basically just a kid's way of
Oh
saying
yeah,
suicide,
yeah.
basically. I thought that was kind of
Yeah, I
funny
mean, I
with the
guess that was
bird.
kind of funny. It just wasn't really. I don't know. It
And
wasn't that
then
funny. I don't think. Yeah.
one instance where it was actually like visual comedy aided this is like the line where the mom's like, Gabby, why'd you leave food on the ground? We don't want to attract animals. While Vivo is in the frame. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny. It's funny little irony there. I
Yeah, but
kind of
I
like
know. I
that
just feel
personally.
like those jokes are kind of like they're obvious and they've been done a lot. I don't know. I didn't think it was executed like bad or anything like that. I just don't think it was that unique or that funny in my opinion. But I mean, it's all good if you
I mean
like
the
that.
whole purpose was to be aimed towards kids, right? So
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
exactly
I'm
fault
sure
it for
kids are
it.
gonna like laugh at all
Yeah,
this shit. It's
Yeah,
definitely the jokes are more centered for kids, which what is fine. It's totally fine. But I think the main thing that keeps the adults interested is probably gonna be the music. So I mean, I think that's also good in and of itself. Because I mean, In the Heights, like didn't exactly have the best comedy. Let's say, I think the only
yeah,
comedy there
comedy.
is that Lin Manuel Miranda got like a full character out of an ice cream salesman. But I mean, or Piragua or whatever it was. But I mean, like the main draw here is definitely the songs, and that's going to keep some of the older viewers interested for sure. So, yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I just think out of like, I mean, obviously the writers had to like think like obviously they're trying to like turn some like this is often a thing that I see in like kids movies, how like these adult writers have to turn like some adult themes into like kid friendly phrases or just ideas. And
yeah,
like, I mean, I think long dirt nap to describe suicide in like a kid friendly way. It's kind
it's
of
not
one
a
of the
bad way to
more.
do it.
I mean, I
Actually.
feel like it's one of the better. Like, it could have been much worse. I feel.
Yeah, because the kids are going to know what it means, presumably, and then like depending on how young they are, obviously, and like it's probably going to make them laugh, which is good. But yeah, it's done in a more like advanced way that makes them feel a little bit more mature for understanding it, I guess. So I mean, that's also a bonus in a way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I I gotta say on the music side, I
yeah.
don't love it.
Oh, you
No,
bitch! Why?
because I don't
Jesus.
feel like most of the songs really serve a purpose or move the story along, except for like the second one, which is like is the one of them where they repeat. But like most of the other songs, I kind of felt I don't know. I didn't feel like they served too much of a purpose. I didn't, and they weren't
Really?
amazing. I definitely like In the Heights
Uh,
songs much better than this.
no, no, I definitely agree with you there. Those songs are all way better, and I still have that full album to this day, and I listen to it all the time. But like, I still found myself, dancing along and humming some of the tunes of the other songs. I mean, I think they were definitely fun. They were fun songs. I quite enjoyed them.
I mean, I
So I,
remember
I
more.
like that other one where they're like racing to Miami. That song there was pretty sweet. Even though there were a few corny lines stuck in there, I should say it was a pretty solid song. I enjoyed it. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of the music, Colin?
yeah. Colin, tell
Um,
us.
from an objective musical standpoint, it's not my thing.
Mm.
I actually liked the first opening song and the song by Vivo after uh what's his name? The old
Andreas.
dude. Andreas died.
Yeah, that's the song I
I
like the
thought that was
most.
that was they were more like musicals rather than like kind of overproduced songs. Like I'm not a fan of the type of music the songs later in the movie were. So personally, they're not something that kind of stuck out to me, and it's kind of just annoying. But I definitely liked the early music more. I thought it was quite well done, and I mean the later stuff was just kind of, I think it was definitely more kiddie in my opinion.
Yeah, I would probably agree for the most
Understandable.
part.
I will agree with you there, though. I mean, the first song is definitely the best. Where they introduce Vivo and Andres. I think
Yeah,
yeah, it's slapper. That's for sure. Yeah,
I mean, I still like
yeah.
the second one after Andreas
I
dies
I
the
I
most
think the
personally.
second one's my favorite, to be
That's
honest
probably my
too.
favorite.
I'm just amazed that what's it called? Lin-Manuel found a rhyme for Kinkajou because that's a pretty hard word to rhyme with. It doesn't really flow off the tongue that
What was
well.
the
So
rhyme for Kinkajou? I don't remember.
I can't remember. I know he rhymed it with something though. I mean,
Okay.
I'm certain of it. There's no way he didn't. That man's just a lyrical genius. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know, but it was
Better than Eminem, no cap.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
Um,
Yeah.
I would say I don't like this. So Sony in this past couple of movies, I don't know if they do this in Wish Dragon, but they did this in Mitchell's, where they have an adult who clearly sounds like an adult playing a kid in an anime
Ah,
movie,
yes,
particularly
I
with
agree
the
with
Girl
that.
Scout.
The group of girls, yeah.
Yeah, like they do this in Mitchell's, and it kind of works a little more in Mitchell's. I don't love it, but it works much better than it does in this movie. Cause she
I mean,
just the way
it kind
she's
of it's
written as
the
well, she just sounds like an adult. It's like she's talking like a woke millennial trying to
yeah.
save the environment instead of just a Girl Scout who's. Because, like, if you're a Girl Scout who cares about the environment, you're just like, oh, keep the monkey safe for the forest or whatever.
Yeah.
She's trying to,
I think
like,
that's how she was written, but like, is the question like, is that a smart way of doing it, or like, was it effective? Kind of like, I don't know. I kind of found it annoying because I mean, I've always like it's like the same when you look at like these like teen drama TV shows, and all the people who are supposed to be high school students are being played by 30-year-old women. So it's like it's kind of has that like disconnect there. And I mean, I the lemonade stand scene, I was just face palming.
yeah, I think that is, like, it's supposed to be, like, the whole reason why they go on this whole adventure through the swamp and everything. It's because they miss a
Yeah,
bus because of a Girl Scout at a lemonade stand just randomly in some plaza thing. Um,
yeah.
It's a little weird. Honestly, like, and I would also say, I think if Vivo could talk, I feel like it was trying to be like a more grounded story, but then there's like with the fact that like Vivo doesn't talk to them, he's just monkey noises at them. Um, but like there's so much stuff that like clearly, and then like it takes place in real places, and the way they get to like the idea of like taking a bus is obviously very realistic. It's not like Up with a bunch of balloons to a house. But there's clearly so much stuff in this movie that also isn't close to being grounded.
I mean,
Like,
also riding a raft through a jungle to get to Miami is not exactly realistic either.
yeah, and then like the Girl Scouts take the boat. They're like the boat by themselves or something, and
Yeah.
then like and all this stuff. I honestly I feel like they should have leaned into one or the other more. I feel like if Vivo talked and there was more fantastical things, it would have made this a little more fascinating overall. Even if you like kept the real places, it's like there's more magic to it
To
than
be
just
honest, though, I really liked how like the way they made the character of Vivo kind of like not be able to speak to people like directly, but whenever there's like a musical scene where he's in a duet with someone, you can kind of feel the connection there because the whole point is that they communicate through the music, right? So I
Right.
thought that they actually did do that really well, especially in the first scene. Like it's like if you just isolated that first scene, you wouldn't know that the guy couldn't understand Vivo, and I quite like that. It's like they kind of talk through their music instead of through conversation.
Yeah, I would say I didn't completely believe that idea. I thought, like, just thinking about it, if it was like reality, like, if it was just the monkey, like, assuming he's like making noises the whole time he's supposed to be singing towards the audience, it would kind of sound weird. But like, yeah, I kind of get the idea. But my I don't know. You definitely need good amount of suspension of disbelief for things like that.
Oh
In
yeah.
that case, I feel like they should have maybe leaned into that a little more.
I mean, going
Um,
into that first scene, I actually thought that everyone could understand the monkeys.
Yeah, same. That's what I thought
Yeah.
as well. I definitely thought, yeah, this is a talking monkey, this is a singing monkey, and that's why everyone's so impressed. But they're so impressed because he's just dancing, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
When you really think about it from a realistic point of view, yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
yeah, but it's like I could also get the idea of people being impressed by what he's doing just from a physical standpoint of just him dancing all around.
True.
That's it works enough. Um, I do. My biggest problem with Gabby's character is that I don't know. I feel like she was a little underwritten, especially like obviously we've mentioned the dad thing, but like her whole character this is supposed to be like the more like emo girl. I'm not like other girls type of thing. Um, especially with like
Yeah.
the way she's dressed and with her hair and stuff. Just like feels too much of a caricature of like a girl who just wants to be different.
Oh, yeah, all girls. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really does fit that stereotype.
Yeah, like a lot. And I think at least they feel like they try to lean into it most of the time. Like with the whole song thing. I don't
Yeah,
know. What did you think of like her song, like the beat of my own
I
drum
hated
thing?
it, to
You
be
did not like it.
honest. It was awful.
It
Yeah,
kind of
like
reminded me of like a Bo Burnham song, because in the way that like it randomly turned to auto tune just in the middle
yeah,
of the whole thing. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and I was just like, okay,
I mean, from a like an isolated musical standpoint, like it's not my thing at all. It's like
yeah.
weird,
And it's weird how they're
like
trying to
club
make
mix.
this character who's not really supposed to be good at like clearly she doesn't have that much sense of rhythm. It's just like they purposely show multiple scenes where she's playing a recorder just terribly
Awful.
in that first
Yeah.
one, and then they have her do like a whole musical number, and it's like I feel like those are it's like a catch-22. It's like how can she be really bad at a recorder and then you expect to like do a good song out of it?
I mean, it's also like it's one thing if you have some character development where she like learns those skills and improve, but it kind of was just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Oh, now
like
she can suddenly
yeah, all of a
sing.
sudden she can. Yes, apparently she can sing now. She has like because thanks to like I don't know what was that Guitar Hero set or whatever, and her like technology things, she can make a song.
Oh yeah,
That's
a garage band or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know about that. I mean,
Yeah,
they kind of
I don't
try
know.
to do that with like how Vivo's kind of teaching her how to like create a rhythm on the boat with like the sticks.
Yeah, but the song was before that,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. They, but if you, yeah, exactly. So I feel
It
like
was practically when
they
they met.
mistimed it. They mistimed
Yeah.
it. Um, there was a couple lines that I kind of thought were funny, just in light of like, it's like one of the Girl Scout says at one point. It's like I need to see this like monkey's vaccine certificate.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was just like, and then also at some other point she says, "Okay, we're gonna need to like this monkey needs to be
Quarantine for 10
quarantined,"
days.
and I'm
Yeah, I
just
think
like,
that was
"Oh, this is
definitely
Joe
a
Biden, the monk as a Girl Scout,"
Uh,
and that's kind of what I
Wait,
thought. Whoa,
whoa.
whoa.
Hold on a second. Did I really just hear that? You just said Joe Biden as a fucking Girl Scout.
It
Oh,
kind
he
of
loved
felt like that.
What the fuck? Joe Biden likes trains, not the environment. Everyone knows this. Fucking hell, it's not
But
that
but he
hard.
does like he does like
it was
children,
specifically
so it's
about
the
the
best of both
vaccine
worlds.
certificate and quarantine stuff. It wasn't about the
Actually,
monkey
yeah,
stuff.
I did think that part was kind of funny. To
In
be
that
honest.
place, it's like a combination of Greta Thunberg and like, I guess I don't know. I
Oh my
mean, I don't
lord.
know. It felt really weird to hear those lines in a movie, just like it's still happening during like what's supposed to be the decline of a pandemic, um, and just with
Yeah.
all the things, obviously vaccine certifications are like a big thing. It just felt like weird for that to be thrown out in a movie like this, and also just because like I don't know, I feel like someone might misinterpret that, like just like because I don't know.
No, no, I totally get why. It makes sense, you know? Like, you might get some people mad with that whole certificate thing. They're like, oh, see, I told you it's a
It's
bad
invasion
thing, man.
privacy
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
they're trying to communicate through a monkey. I don't know. I
Dude,
doubt
it's not a monkey, it's a kinkajou.
it's a
Bro,
what's
why are you calling? Dude, it's not a monkey, though. It's like a mammal. Yeah, it's not a monkey, though. It's its own species.
okay.
There you go. Jesus
I
Christ.
didn't know that. Huh.
Facts don't care about your feelings. Do do do.
I'm trying to look up a kinkajou. Like, how do you even kink?
It's definitely not a monkey. It's its own thing. I swear to God. Kinkajou.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Well, I'm looking at a real kinkajou. It looks nothing like a. Okay, they designed him to look like a monkey. Okay,
Yeah, no,
you,
that's
you
true
cannot
there.
blame
Yeah.
me. This thing is not like. I
It
think
definitely looks like a sun
they
bear.
very
That's
much
for sure.
manipulated this. Not only in like its
Mhm.
like appeal just visually, but frankly they just changed the whole look of it. Like I think you could have like what I'm seeing here. It doesn't look that cute, but you could have easily manipulated it to look still like a kinkajou, but look more cute. They didn't do that
Yeah.
at all. They should have just made him a monkey. I don't get it.
It does look more
Yeah.
like a rat than a
Yeah, exactly.
monkey.
Yeah,
They
that's
could have just made
fair.
it like a cute rat. I don't know,
Maybe
Actually,
they
it
ratatouille,
just
sort of looks like
ratatouille
a
energy.
bit like a possum mixed with a lemur, you
the
know?
snake was onto something. Didn't they call it a possum in the
Yeah,
movie
he
too?
called him a rat
Yeah.
though in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Called him a rat, which is like it makes a lot more sense now looking at the real thing. Before I'm just like, bro, why are you calling a monkey a rat? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's just the design. Yeah, and again, I guess now I found a flaw with Vivo's design. It's like very, they were probably afraid of like designing him more like Ratatouille,
Yeah,
just
probably.
with golden.
Anyways, I think we're getting slightly off topic here. Should we just give the movie a score, or do you have anything else you want to say?
Other than again the lighting was cool, but I already mentioned that, so I think
Yeah.
I'm good.
I think one other thing though, I really actually liked the accuracy of the like set design kind of deal. Like I like the Cuba section was
Yeah.
actually really well done with just like how the
Yeah.
buildings were portrayed and especially
Yeah.
the cars I noticed because
No,
it's
that's true. Yeah,
something a
I
lot
would
of
agree
people
with that.
miss up.
Yeah, the only thing
Like
missing about
actually
that
having a
whole
lot of
Cuba
old
thing is like
fifties.
no access to the internet. So I mean, yeah. That's
But
like all I could think
the
about during that whole thing. I was like, yeah, damn, these people like I don't know why people are taking selfies. Not like they can fucking post them when they get home or anything like that. Like, fuck, there's no point. No point. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I
What's the
definitely
score you guys
thought
want to give it?
the sets in
Nope.
Cuba were better designed than the ones in Miami. They
yeah, I
looked
agree
better
with that.
overall.
Yeah, that's true. All
Um,
right.
yeah. So
Score it.
that's Vivo. What do we want to give this? So we usually score these movies out of 10. Aiden, what do you want to give it?
I have a possible score of 10. I'd probably give it like I'd probably give it like a 6.5, to be honest. I think it's definitely solid, but not my favorite animated movie. That's all. Yeah.
All right, Colin.
I think I'd give it a 6. It's
Yeah.
kind of it's not my kind of movie, but I can at least appreciate the work that went into it and see
Yeah.
some of the good parts of it. But yeah, it didn't keep my attention the whole time.
Yeah, I think it kept my attention the whole time, but there was definitely a lot of problems with it. It was definitely trying just to be a kids movie, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look as good as Rango, which is another movie that Roger Deakins has worked on, animated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10 as well.
All right.
That's kind of what I think.
Sweet.
All right, let's move on to Fractured. This is the movie that Colin recommended we watch. It's on Netflix if you guys want to check it out. It is directed by Brad Anderson, director of The Machinist, the movie where Christian Bale got real skinny. It stars Sam Worthington, who was in Avatar, Lily Rabe, Stephen Tobolsky, Ajoa Ando, Laura Cochrane, and Stefan Tsai and Chad Bruce. Um, the description from Letterbox, which is the site I use, reads: Driving cross country, Ray and his wife and daughter stop at a highway rest stop where his daughter falls and breaks her arm. After a frantic rush to the hospital and a clash with check-in nurse, Ray is finally able to get her to a doctor. While the wife and daughter go downstairs for an MRI, Ray is exhausted and passes out in a chair in the lobby. Upon waking up, they have no record or knowledge of Ray's family ever being checked in. Um, alright, so what we normally do when we talk about a guest movie, we first ask the guest why they picked this movie. So I'll go ahead and ask you that, Colin.
Why'd you do it?
All right. Well, I really have like never really been interested in these kind of like suspenseful like thriller twist movies kind of deal. But just saw a recommendation on some video on Instagram saying it was a really interesting movie about how it kind of skews your perspective of even the main character, and you really don't know who to trust the entire time. And I figured I'd give it a watch, and I actually just really liked it. It was a really interesting way of a movie being done that I've never seen before personally. So it's pretty good, I think. And it's also I think it's quite underrated because it's got not the best reviews, of course. So I think it's pretty nice, pretty good movie though. That's kind of why I picked it.
All right.
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess we kind of know some of your thoughts. Aiden, what did you think?
It was definitely an interesting like film. I think there were a lot of twists and turns there, and I don't know. I mean, I didn't see a great deal of them coming. I mean, like the one thing that kind of surprised me the most about the film was I was pretty engaged with like Sam Worthington's performance. I mean, like I kind of know him mainly from like those let's say interesting Clash of the Titan reboot movies, right? And then of course the Avatar movie, which of course you and I, Daniel, have mixed feelings on these days. But I mean, I think it was always clear that he had some like capability like leading a film. I think he always like was a decent actor, but I think in this film he really gets a chance to shine. I mean, like I think he carries the film by himself. I think without him I would be a lot less into the movie. I think he does a really good job at keeping us involved and really does a great job at actually making us believe everything that's going on inside that fucked up head of his in the film. So yeah, I don't know what you
100% agree
thought
with
about
that. I think his performance was incredible, honestly. Like he
that.
really kept me engaged in the movie and like the entire time. And the twist at the end, I did not see coming at all. Like
Yeah, yeah,
100%, I was totally blindsided by that. And I think that's partially due to his performance and personality and just skill as an actor.
yeah. Fair enough there.
Yeah, um, I definitely have a lot of mixed feelings about this movie. I'll just come out and say
Of
that.
course you do. Okay, what do you got?
I think Sam was fine. I think he was good. I don't know if like necessarily his performance was really the thing that carried it fully for me. Because what I did find about this movie is like while there was a lot of okay, what I my theory throughout the film was that um when the daughter fell and broke her arm and when he chased after her, that when he like fell, he was the one who like actually like hurt himself more. Like he was the one with an actual head injury. And I
Yeah,
thought that this maybe was just him in a coma, imagining this really weird scenario, where his daughter and his wife are missing.
yeah,
Um, and then the way they reveal the twists, I don't think completely made sense. Well, not like the last one makes a little more sense.
yeah,
Um, but specifically how the psychiatrist character figures it all out. It's like, how did she know that he like killed his first wife, and so therefore because he had also now killed his wife and child, like, well, because apparently his wife had an unborn child, his first wife had an unborn child,
yeah,
that he had now killed his new wife and daughter, so then he was having a repeated trauma, so therefore his mind was creating an alternate reality.
That is a good point.
And
That
I have
scene
no idea
does. Yeah, no, you're right.
how does that even get revealed? How like a character? I don't know how a character could ever possibly try to decipher that just by like. I feel like normal people would see the blood and seeing how this guy's crazy like doesn't clearly has a very confused view of reality. Probably would assume he is like bipolar or some kind of manic mental thing happening with him, and probably ended up somehow killing his wife and daughter, and therefore just should. And then that's it. And but the thing with the his first wife, I don't think worked very well throughout this whole movie. And the idea of the repeated trauma idea was a little dumb, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, I hear you there. I mean, I can understand that, but I don't know. I mean, I think it was definitely an enjoyable ride. I mean, like, maybe it wasn't executed in the best way all the way through, but I can't say that there's a lot of Netflix films out there that are like this that have kept me nearly as engaged. I think there's a lot of films out there that, Netflix or other streaming services have put out that have just kind of been like, I don't know, boring for whatever reason, even though there's like a decently cool premise, hidden within there, right? But I just don't think that, like, I think like getting someone like Sam Worthington kind of like elevates the film just a tiny bit. Maybe not to the level where it's like, Breeze, obviously. I'm not saying it's that, but I think to the point where like you can like unironically like watch it fully and like actually say, you know what, that was a pretty fun movie. I had a good time there, and I think I enjoyed it. So yeah,
Yeah, even
yeah,
though I feel like the vibe it's going for is not to have like a good time, because for the whole time they have this like very suspenseful music, so it's trying to
yeah,
indicate, I feel like, the whole time that something is wrong. um which I even like at the very beginning, um and the get well soon, like there's things that appear multiple times, and if it's supposed to be like, it doesn't make it clear what, obviously it's done this to like confuse the audience, but it doesn't like make it clear at all what is reality and what is not for the most part.
yeah,
And I know
Yeah,
that's very much the point, but that also makes some of the things I feel like they're trying to communicate, like beyond just the twist in the plot, a little weaker. Like you have, and like any hints to like, because I think what really makes a good twist overall is like giving you a bunch of hints towards like one thing, but then using those hints to like give to use and to like create another like answer. Um, and the hints, there aren't really hints here.
really.
They're not really, or at
I
least they're
kind of
not
thought that
very
that
well
was.
communicated, in my opinion. I don't know. What did you
I,
get that like
I
from
thought
that?
that was actually a pretty well executed section of it because I mean personally I was watching it and I like you see, well, I guess the hints in which case would be the suspicious nature of the doctors as portrayed by Sam's character, and then like the dog at the construction site at the end, and like the security guard, how he's acting so like, well, like it's portrayed to be suspicious, and I think it actually does a really good job of pushing you towards one goal. And I mean, obviously there are actually a couple of hints hidden that lead you to like that explain what actually is happening, because I remember I read something that there are like the get well soon balloons or whatever are, and some other stuff are supposed to kind of show like it's actually him who is the injured one and stuff. And yeah, like I think those are actually well hidden
Right.
and hard to pick up on. And the other hints, like the hints in the movie, do I think do a good job of leading you towards what they want you to think, and then twist it on you right at the end.
Right.
Personally, I just thought it was actually a pretty well executed, at least for me, I guess.
Yeah. What I felt, I kind of figured he was the one who was injured, especially with the way they were filming everything. They were trying to make it very clear that he was in a disoriented state. And yeah, like I figured he was the one who was injured. But then
Really?
yeah, I figured he was the one who was injured most of the time. But then I feel like the rest of the movie, I was just getting like the film was just wrestling me back and forth between that, because like once I figure out he was injured, okay, like he's injured, but then he shows something where it's like, oh, he's correct. Like
Yeah,
specifically the moment, like
that exact thing, which I know some people would like, well, that's like obviously you have a different opinion than me, but I think that exact like I think that was what the original video I watched on why to watch this movie like was saying, how that technique of keeping you jumping between who to believe is so interesting, and I really found it cool because you really don't like you want to relate to the main character and like cheer them on obviously, but I mean you have back and forth like some really strong evidence for both sides throughout, and at the end obviously you're supposed to relate with the main character until the very end, but I honestly really liked that technique of how they kept swapping what you were kind of supposed to believe.
right, and like it was hard for me to believe that he was right, even though I feel like the film was trying, like the film keeps trying to tell you at multiple points that yeah, he's the one who's right, even
Yeah.
though I personally couldn't believe the whole time that he was. So it wasn't that shocking, but I just when they reveal that like he clearly is completely out of his mind, um, and just I do think what this film does well is I can very much picture how the whole like geography and like the events happen. Like I feel like I could like write like just like take a piece of paper, like kind of write out like a highway in like the hospital and kind of like track how like where he is and how his interactions work. And all of that stuff was communicated pretty well. But then because of like the twisted nature of the whole thing, it like the way the his like first incident, like his wife, his like old wife, like his first wife, and him being like a recovering alcoholic, and the fact that he got in a crash that killed his first wife, I don't think that part worked in very well because I do think that idea of a double trauma didn't work very well. But then when it was trying to go back to working in that first incident into this like warped reality that he created, I didn't think it worked pretty well. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there, and like, yeah, when you really like dissect it, like I agree, it kind of doesn't fit the best as an explanation, and they definitely could have like done it better, probably. Now that I'm thinking about it, but while watching, like I gotta say, I didn't have any of those thoughts like while watching, but like hearing you, I'm not gonna disagree. But like while actually like sitting there and watching the movie, I like none of that kind of came to mind. It all kind of made sense to me, and I think
Yeah.
like to your average like viewer, it's probably something that wouldn't really throw them off that much.
Yeah.
But I can totally understand what you're saying because you do make a good point. Like it is, and thinking about it now, like it does actually like it's a bit confusing how they got to that conclusion and stuff. But like in the heat of the moment, it kind of makes perfect sense. So I don't know if that's what they were going for or just kind of coincidence, but
Right.
Yeah.
And I think even though the twist reveals that he was crazy, like he clearly had a head trauma and he's done a lot of bad things this whole time. The another part that's really hard to believe is that because he was angry at his wife and kind of mad at himself, that he somehow went to the point where he would throw a rock at his own kid, kill her, but then at the same time still care enough about her to like jump in after her. Because the way that's filmed, if he threw the rock at her and that's what caused her to fall, there's like it feels very stupid that he would jump in after her because they were like a good like 2 meters apart. So we'd have to like throw it in, then immediately run for her. Like, you get what I'm trying to say?
true.
Yeah.
I kind
No.
of
Like try to
sorry, go
imagine
ahead.
because they don't explicitly show it. So I'm trying to imagine the scenario of what they sort of show, where he throws the rock at the kid. He then at his kid. He then jumps in after her. He hits his own head. The wife starts freaking out, and in his like anger and confusion, he throws her onto like the nail thing, which kills her. Just that whole scenario feels a little unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, but
I don't
at
know
the
how
end of
they
the
got from
day,
point
like,
A, like I
are
don't
they
know how he
really
got to
really
that
trying? I
point.
don't think they were really trying to go for a believable scenario here. I mean, I don't think I got that vibe at any point in the movie. So I mean,
Right, but
yeah,
like they're trying. Well, what you see on screen is obviously like a lot of it is fake because we're in the perspective of Sam's mind. But
yeah,
to think about how this would work in reality, it really can't, right? And
yeah.
therefore, I feel like the film doesn't have a true point. Like, it didn't like they were only going for like the manipulation of the audience. It didn't feel like it had anything else to go for, other than just having you keep guessing. And I guess a
Okay,
good
well,
and there's enough
yeah.
things like from the cinematography, the music, Sam Worthington's performance, all of that. I think does a good enough job to like bring you along on this idea. But then I feel like the twist loses a lot of credibility because it doesn't really give you anything else other than yeah, he was injured. Even though you've been hinted to that a lot.
Yeah, I know, but the point of that was just they hinted at that a lot because they were trying to do some fake outs because they were making you think that they were going that route, and then they're like, oh, it's a different route, and then they were like, actually, no, it was this original route. So I mean, like, that's just the point, though. It like goes back to your like what you were saying, like, yeah, the whole movie's about audience manipulation, but I don't really see a problem with that. You know, I'm fine with a movie that likes to fuck with the audience a little bit. You know, it's like it's better than
Right.
the status quo for the most part. You know, I don't mind being constantly on my toes trying to figure out what exactly is happening. You know, I mean, there are some cases where I don't think it works. I don't think it works out at all for certain movies. I think one that kind of reminds me of that is like in the tall grass. They keep me guessing a little bit too much, and then it just gets fucking muddled by the end. You know, I don't really like when it happens, but I think it was a pretty clear narrative from start to finish. I don't
Yeah.
mind that it fucked with me a little bit. So, yeah,
And I can see what they were going for.
yeah.
Um but to compare and contrast, especially like the whole scenario of how he like kills his like new wife and daughter versus how he killed his old wife and unborn child. Those are like the fact that he got into a car crash while drunk because he was an alcoholic, and is very believable. That could easily be something happen to happen. But then to create the scenario where he gets mad because he's kind of angry at his wife because of Thanksgiving and he's kind of mad at himself, to then throw like I don't know how you would justify
Well,
that.
see, I think in that exact scene that you're talking about, like at the very end when it kind of shows the flashbacks to what actually happened, I mean, there's still the dog in the flashback, which is supposedly supposed to be the truth. So I don't know about the throwing the rock at the daughter part, and I might be misinterpreting this wrong, but it very well could be that he was like chucking a rock at a dog. She
Okay,
fell down. He
right.
jumped in after, and then like after the like in the flashback part, you see the wife getting mad and hitting him, and then it looks like he has like a mental break or like is completely out of it, which would totally explain the entirety of the movie if he had some kind of big bipolar mental break or something, and just shoves her head onto the spike. Like that's kind of what I was seeing when
Right.
I looked at that, which for
And
me, like, while it's not realistic, it's more believable, like, to
yeah,
just have because I mean that does
and I
happen,
think you're
right? So,
right now that I think about it. He so
yeah,
okay because so the whole scenario happens. The dog kind of scares the daughter towards the edge. Sam is mad, so he does a rash. Well, I'm just calling him Sam. His name is Ray. He's a little irrational, so he decides to just use the rock to try to hit the dog, get the dog out of the way.
she falls,
So
he
she
jumps in
falls.
after,
He jumps in after her because he still cares, but then he hits his head, and
and he
then
gets up,
because
and
of
it's
his
all like,
disoriented state, he ends up killing his daughter. But then at like what point does his like mind, because like once you hit your head, it's like while he's in his like impaired state of being like having hit his head, I I'm even more unbelievable, like so he hit his head and then somehow gets to the point where he like displays enough aggression against his wife to kill her or to like
I
push her to
mean,
the ground.
like, I just kind of got that because, like, looking at his facial expressions during this whole flashback sequence, after, like, he's got a lot of emotion and expression of, like, fear and concern before he hits the ground with his daughter. And as soon as he gets up, he doesn't have any expression on his face at all. And he's just, like, totally not paying attention, the audio is like disorientating white noise, like I think trying to reflect his mental state. And yeah, I mean, his wife, you can't even hear what she's saying, but she's smacking him and yelling at him. And then he kind of just pushes her down. And I think that's more like depicting some kind of big mental break than like anger, more so.
Right.
Like, I think because
So
I mean, it
this,
seems like he's really just like gone full bad shit crazy,
yeah,
and
and
then he's
I,
starting making
and
all these
then
hallucinations.
I would have some like have some problem believing that because he hit his head, all of a sudden he's had a complete mental break. Because
Well, then would it be well? Then the history of him and his first wife and all of his past with the alcohol addiction and his like, it probably maybe that goes to say, well, his mind's not there in the first place, and it's not like he just hits his head and he breaks it. He's kind of on the edge, and what throws like as he jumps over the construction cliff, he goes over the edge, kind of deal. That's kind of the vibe I got from it, at least. I might be reading too much into it, but
yeah, and like I I kind of thought of the idea like there's the one scene where he's in the hospital and like and is at the like the newborn area, and he's like talking to this father who's like scared to be a father. I feel like if the writer and director was like really trying to put more purpose into everything, like because obviously there's a lot of other things that like kind of show up again, like the get well soon, which I guess is supposed to indicate that like yeah he's the one who's injured. The like the there's that larger man with the breathing tube who shows up multiple times. I I did like they clearly like do camera shots of him like so he's very much in focus. I didn't get that. I feel like this might be also another dumb thinking, but like I feel like the writer was trying to indicate by like him talking to that dad who was really scared to be a dad. There's a chance one of the reasons he started drinking more is because he was scared to be a dad. I don't know if they were trying to do that. Seems
that
like a
could be it
stretch,
too. Yeah.
but and for that, I feel like, and again, I might be just doing that connection. Just might have been this like, oh, let's have him in the hospital, just in this area, so he ends up talking to this dad, right? Um,
Yeah.
and obviously that stuff, it doesn't seem to be clearly connected, but and for that, I admire it. Um, I do think the other performances other than Sam Worthington aren't too strong.
Yeah, I agree
Um,
with that.
especially the wife. The wife felt very stilted, and I guess most of the time she's supposed to be seen through his like disoriented lens. So maybe her emotions aren't supposed to be like really that recognized by
I
him.
totally agree with that. How like the other performances were probably like, and whether it was on purpose or not, because like obviously the hospital staff I think were done purposely the way they were, like supposed to be very like static and
And robotic.
yeah, but like again, it's also like it's his movie, right? So like it like not there's not a second where you're not following him. Like everything's from his perspective. So like his performance is obviously the one that matters, but like I don't know. I kind of that didn't take away too much from me personally, but I'll agree with you. Definitely, like the wife and I mean the daughter to an extent too were subpar.
Daughter was okay, I think. I think the right like obviously they wrote her very much like a kid, having her not
Yeah.
do a lot. Also, the fact that she got into that scenario because of a dog, it kind of reminds me of like the beginning of A Quiet Place, where
Oh
like that
yeah,
kid is distracted by the freaking
spaceship.
spaceship thing. It's like I don't know. I feel like well, specifically in A Quiet Place, I think they maybe make that kid too dumb because like you've been living out here for 90 days in an apocalypse.
And,
For this,
and
it's
he wants
like
to battery.
I yeah. Again, that's a moment that felt it make it made it feel very not 2019 with like the lack of a credit card system at that gas station and then the freaking the fact that she wants batteries for like this music player. It's like
Yeah, true.
makes it feel more period piece and it wasn't it didn't feel like it was trying to be that in most aspects, but
Yeah, I wonder though, like, I mean, I don't know when this is set either. Like, is it supposed to be
Also,
set in
where? Like, other
2019?
than it's like kind of a rural area, that
Yeah, I think they mention it sometime, but I can't
yeah.
remember, to be honest. The setting definitely doesn't stand out, but I don't think it's supposed to. Like, it's
Other than
supposed to
it's
be
like the
kind of
United
that
States.
whole, yeah, and I think it's supposed to be that like that whole like isolated, like kind of in the middle of nowhere, random
Hospital
place.
feeling.
Yeah, like it's just supposed to be kind of. It's. I
Lack
think
of
everything
connection
is done
too.
to keep you. Yeah, I think everything's just done to keep you guessing and keep you kind of like not really sure of what's going on. Like even if like where you are or what's going on, kind of.
Right.
But not like for me, it's not too much that it like okay, I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know. I think it was just I could be wrong, but I think it was just the perfect mix of like suspense and twist and interesting storyline and character design and everything. Kind of, I really liked it.
I mean, yeah, and I can like this movie clearly has some strengths. What I would say from like this reminds me a little bit of Hitchcock, in the way that he's very famous for like creating suspense and trying to like manipulate the audience using filmmaking.
Yeah,
I don't think specifically the filmmaking here is what makes it disorienting. It's more the writing and the idea of just like Adam Randing props and like having him like having different moments where it's like, oh, is he right? Is there a conspiracy, or is it no? He's just fucking crazy. But I feel like Hitchcock very much has more purposes towards the suspense versus something like this. I feel like didn't have a clear point, other than it's in this kind of remind. This is like the thriller of like basic horror movies for me, where the whole point of some horror movies is just to scare the audience. I feel like
yeah,
this whole thriller was the only point was to just
throw
keep
you
the
off, kind
audience
of.
guessing and try to add suspense to it, which I didn't
Yeah,
get too much out of it personally.
I can see that.
And I really don't like horror movies that only go for horror's sake. I would like a prime example of that would be like something like The Conjuring, which we've covered. And you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But other than that,
Do we have anything else we want to say about this, or what do you think? What are we thinking?
no, I think I'm good. Uh,
Yeah, I'm good too.
all
Yeah.
right. In what do you want to give this out of 10?
I mean, Colin's the guest. You should give his score first. Fuck. He picked it.
Um, for enjoy it like just from like a casual moviegoer's perspective, then I guess, because I mean, like obviously I'm not taking too in depth of a look at it. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and my enjoyment level was definitely probably around a 9. But as a movie, I'd probably give it like a 7, probably, because I think
Yeah.
it was quite well done. But I definitely pointed out some good flaws that I didn't see originally, and
Yeah.
yeah, but so I'd maybe 7, 7.5 probably.
Yeah, well, Daniel has a way of pointing out the flaws in movies very well. He's good at that. So I mean, no, I'm just joking, but you know what I mean. You know that type of joke where you mean it, you know?
Yeah, but you don't, but you can't say you mean it.
Yeah, no, but like
I mean,
it's
I
not a
do
bad
that.
thing
I'm
though.
not gonna say I don't. I sometimes
No, that just
overpick
means you're good at what you do, man. That's good.
or I'm
Yeah.
spewing bullshit sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're not spewing bullshit. It's not.
I'm
You're
definitely
making you're
sometimes doing
making
that.
valid points
I'm
there,
throwing
but
everything at
yeah.
the window that I think of and hoping some of the shit sticks with you guys or just me. And I guess
That's
some
a
of
good
it
place.
did today.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, I mean, if I was gonna give it a score, I mean, I'd probably have to give it like a 6. I think it's like it was solid, but it's obviously not like it's not up there in the quality of some of the other like throws out there. But I was pleasantly surprised, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
because Netflix movies aren't always the most consistent, let's say, and yeah, of course we're gonna see that soon with Kissing Booth 3. So,
Yes,
we get
sir.
ready to fucking shoot myself in the
Best
foot when
movie
I'm
of
watching that.
2021 upcoming. Let's get it. Um.
Okay,
Uh.
what are you gonna give it?
So I originally gave it a 4. Um. But you know what I did like is that I was able to remember most of the plot, and and I think again, like I said, it feels like most of the scenarios that we see, at least on screen, are believable. Obviously, there's a couple moments that are pretty important that I didn't feel were very believable, but like the whole journey felt cool enough, and the like, even though I think the destination and most of the emotional points don't hit, um, So I gave it a 5 in the end.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. Thank you for
Yeah.
your opinion, good sir.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I just looking at some like a couple of the reviews on the site that I usually use to like look at movies, and well, the first one is healthcare in America really sucks. I don't know if that's the point of this movie. I don't know if
No, it is
did you get
not.
any of that at all?
No, not in the
No, not
slightest.
really.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this is mostly a joke, but
Yeah,
whatever.
but I'm sure it is. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much the end of the podcast. I think what we'll do before we wrap up with you, Colin, is that we usually like to quickly talk about films we've watched in the past week and give our quick thoughts on them.
right,
Obviously, a lot
great.
quicker than we do for the whole podcast. But is there anything you've seen that you'd want to quickly
Yeah, actually,
talk
I
about?
watched The Quiet Place Part 2 the other day. It was, I really liked it, actually. I thought it was actually better than the first one.
Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I saw that a little while ago. I personally kind of disagree.
Really?
I thought, well, not by too much. I thought it was slightly weaker, for me. Um, the water thing was, it felt like it was getting too much into like the old idea of like monster movies. It's like one thing that defeats them. Um, it felt like it wasn't trying to go for that suspense as much for like because they were making a lot of noise at a lot of points, but it felt and to give them credit, they came up with like creative enough solutions. I feel to like them making more noise most of the
Yeah.
time, but it's you know I like it was good. I would personally give it a quick 5 out of 10. But it was a very strong. It was like the strongest 5 out of 10 of all time. Very strong 5 out of 10. Aiden, do you want to mention anything?
I haven't had the time nor the energy to fucking watch anything else, to be honest. I mean, I've only really been keeping up with fucking called Bad Batch. So if you haven't seen that yet, please go watch it. Great Star Wars show. I'm having fun with it at the moment. It's not perfect, but it's a continuation of Clone Wars, and I'm a huge Clone Wars fan. So if you like me, go watch it, and if you don't watch it, that means you. So, yeah. Great. Glad
Yeah.
to see that joke landed. Thank you guys, but I appreciate the support. Okay, is that
Um,
all?
I guess I'll quickly go through because I saw the Suicide Squad.
Oh, you saw.
I
Fuck it.
did.
Mm.
I might have to plug my ears for this because I don't want to be spoiled or anything.
I won't. Yeah, I'll give a quick spoiler-free review. Um, Idris Elba is gonna be good. It didn't feel dumb, and I think James Gunn very much executed what he wanted to do. And it was more creative than most superhero movies, but it had a pretty basic script. I didn't like the score. The licensed music was good.
Really, they actually used licensed music good in this. Well, that's actually
Yeah.
great.
Well, I mean, that's what
Because like,
James
do you
Gunn
remember in the
does.
first Suicide Squad when they dropped all those songs like
I didn't
randomly?
watch the first Suicide Squad.
Okay, well, consider yourself lucky. I mean, like, at the time I thought it was fine because I saw it when I was like 13, so, I ate that shit up, right? But I mean, looking back at it now, I'm like, why is Eminem playing at this point in the movie? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what the fuck?
What I'll say for sure is that Idris Elba is a better actor than Will Smith.
Ooh,
But
hot take?
Suicide Squad... No, that's not a hot take. Are you kidding me?
Mm,
No way.
I mean, Idris Elba doesn't have any Oscar nominations, so some people would probably disagree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, like, I think
Yeah,
I
because
think
the
Idris
Academy
Elba
sucks.
is probably a better actor, but
Academy's
I'm
a
just
bunch of
saying that,
assholes. A
huh?
bunch of assholes. They should have easily nominated him for Beast of No Nation. They fucking didn't.
Okay, yeah, but like, what do you, man? That's just how it is sometimes.
Anyways, I gave that a 7 out of 10. I watched the Grand
Bitchin'.
Budapest Hotel again. It's very good. I still love it. It's like a 10 out of 10.
What a surprise! Wes Anderson.
And then
is-
last
stayed
night I
away.
watched at a theater Uncut Gems, which is a very good movie that I think
Yeah.
everyone should try to see. It's on Netflix, so it's not that hard to see. But I saw it at a theater because I'm cool. And I liked it a lot. It was really fun to see in a theater. It's pretty much a 10 out of 10. Even though it's definitely not a flawless movie though. It's
Yeah.
it's definitely not a completely cut gem.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
All right. I'll
Get the hell out of
I'll
here.
retire. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, I think we'll start to wrap it up now.
Okay.
Colin, thank you very much for being here on the podcast. We always
Yeah, of course,
appreciate
man.
having people on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you on in the future. We'll have to see. Yeah, I don't know. Aiden, is there anything else you want to say?
Uh, I mean, it was nice meeting you, Colin. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, man. I'm good. I, I'm tired. Okay, I had a late shift again last night, so I'm fucking gassed. So apologies for the lack of energy today, but
All
I
right.
promise you it's not what I'm normally like.
All right.
So
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. You've been lacking energy a lot lately. Maybe you should just
Well,
quit your job.
yeah. look, relax. Don't worry. My last week is the 20. My last day is the 22nd. So after that, I'll be back to my normal self.
All right.
So
Well,
yeah.
I guess we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much for listening to the Dead Film Critics Society podcast. We're here, and one of us is queer, and we'll see you guys next
Hey.
time. All right. Goodbye. All right. Welcome to the news section of the podcast. We'll be doing a trailer reaction after this, and then we'll be talking to Colin about Fractured and Vivo.
Yep.
Before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about some news. Aiden, what do you got for us?
Okay, well, just let me pull this up right now. Okay, so apparently, the one of the writers of Godzilla vs Kong has teased that there's some more MonsterVerse content coming. I don't think that's a big surprise. I mean, like Godzilla vs Kong was a huge success. I mean, everybody seemed to enjoy it when they saw it. I mean, like obviously it's a dumbass movie, right? But it was a fun dumbass movie. So I mean, I'm definitely excited to see more of that stuff. I don't know what you think, because you and dumb movies have a very strange relationship where you
They
can't.
do. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What was the dumb movie that I really didn't we talk about something last week?
I think you were telling me a bit about Fast 9. You were like, I actually enjoyed it. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that.
Are you sure?
No, I didn't enjoy I didn't enjoy it more than I thought I would. About the same as I thought it would. There was something else. I don't remember. What did we talk about last week?
Old Man and the Gun, and there's another one I was trying to remember.
Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise, yeah.
Jungle Cruise.
That was the one you
That
actually
was the
enjoyed.
dumb movie that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Definitely more than I expected. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed, but I'd also liked other things to get made. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Trevor
Yeah.
Moore, co-founder of The Widest Kids You Know, was 41 and he has passed away. I don't know. Have you heard of that? I'm not sure.
No, I
This
have no
is-
idea what the
this is
whitest
the
kids
top-
you know is.
Yeah, this is the top upvoted thing on the news for Reddit.
Jeez.
He died pretty young though, 41.
Yeah, 41. That is relatively pretty young, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I do feel bad for his family. I mean, like, I hope he's resting in peace. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know what exactly it is. I'll have to learn maybe more about it. Brendan Fraser boards Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon and a legendary production comedy called Brothers. I don't know. This is the second most upvoted thing, which kind of
Well,
shows
you know
there's
why,
a lot
though,
of
'cause
Brendan Fraser fans.
Brendan Fraser, man, that guy has had it rough. I mean, like his career sort of fell off, and he's been slowly making a comeback. And you know what? I'm all for it, because in my mind, he will always be Rick O'Connell from the first million movies. So I mean, I definitely get a lot of enjoyment out of him as an actor. He's a very, good
Yeah.
leading man. I'm just surprised that his career didn't continue on that upward trend it was looking towards. So I mean,
Yeah, he definitely has a much larger fan base than I would have expected for someone like this. But
Well,
he's
because
gonna
he's
be
such a nice guy, Like he's so charismatic. He's kind of a lovable dude. Even now he's put on a few pounds. He seems like a big cuddly guy with a dad bod. So that's probably another reason why people.
I haven't
like him.
personally got too much of that, but
Yeah.
I am kind of looking forward to a couple things he's in. Like I'm going to see The Whale with directed by Darren Aronofsky, where he plays the lead role, and of course
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Killers of the Flower Moon very much. Jesse Plemons is in the lead role, of course.
There you go. Okay, I have one more piece of news I want to quickly talk
Yeah, go
about.
ahead.
So, Stranger Things season 4. This isn't really movie news, but it's a big TV announcement, right? So, I mean, thought we might talk about it. Stranger Things season 4. It got kind of like this little teaser, snippet posted on Netflix and on the internet as well, obviously. So, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't give us a whole lot, but it's nice to know that season 4 is actually going to come eventually because we've been waiting for it for a while. I mean, when did season 3 air? It feels like forever ago,
I don't know.
honestly.
I haven't seen anything of Stranger Things. I would not know.
What
You
the
know what's
hell?
a better show, or potentially better show?
Oh
That because
boy,
I
here
haven't
we
seen.
go.
I can't say that for sure. That it's got an announcement for another season. Is The Great, starring Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult. Um, from the
Oh,
writer of
that
The
one.
Favorite. I watched the first season. I enjoyed it very much. It's getting its second season in November. Uh, so I don't know how I'm gonna watch it because I'm kind of being in a state where I might not be able to watch it. But we'll have to see. Um, I don't know. There was a clip upvoted about Matt Damon explaining how modern movie budgets get determined and how the lack of DVD sales has changed what kind of movie studios will greenlight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to maybe check that out, but I don't know. It's like I get that there's definitely a lot less Blu-ray and DVD sales, and obviously streaming, has become a bigger, like a very much a more focused way to how to sell a movie if it's like easy to sell to streaming people,
Yeah.
obviously. And obviously, I feel like DVDs things are more connected with like cult hits, but like cult hits are a little hard to sell. I feel like to a general streaming audience most of the time.
Yeah.
Um, and they're hardly the focus of most streaming platforms like advertising. But I don't know, it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange is gonna get a 4K. Got a release date. I don't know for when, but that's kind of cool. Oh, September 21st. It
All
wouldn't be
right.
my first Kubrick film that I'd want in 4K. There's a couple others I'd rather have, but it's a pretty good movie. You should check it
All
out if you
right.
haven't.
Awesome.
Val Kilmer's documentary, which is coming out soon, I think. I need to double check that. Reveals a deeply personal portrait of a Hollywood star, which is a interesting thing. That I feel like that's something that hasn't really been covered because it's a little bit weird to do like a documentary about someone who's like always in like behind the camera, whether it's for movies, TV shows, or even for like just interviews and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or just like even like paparazzi, like Hollywood
Yeah.
stars are, like feel like they get documented all the time, but this is like, I think it's an interesting take to like do a documentary, even about a
Yeah.
like about obviously wasn't the most famous or successful or talent like not the obviously like, at least in terms of like things like Oscars wasn't the most talented actor, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be really interesting to take a look at this. French Dispatch got a new poster. I personally don't love it. I don't know what your thoughts are on it from what you can see here.
Yeah, that's just a lot going on there.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just like all the
they need to
characters with the
chill out a
blue.
little bit, you
It's like
know?
basically all the characters with the blue background. Netflix is The Harder They Fall, which we saw a trailer for, if you remember, with Idris
Yeah.
Elba, my boy, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, is going to open BFI's London Film Festival, which kind of shows that Netflix might see this a little bit as an Oscar contender in some ways, potentially. I would
Yeah.
think what most people are thinking that could get is probably SAG Ensemble, because that's
Yeah.
something that, with the amount of talented black actors and the amount of talented actors period there, um, that that be a group they'd want to nominate. And if the movie's good, I think they will, and maybe if it's good enough, they might nominate a couple other things. We're about to watch the trailer for Cry Macho. So we'll cut to that now, I guess.
Yeah.
We're back. I wanted to quickly also mention Clifford the Big Red Dog was pulled from Toronto Film Festival. We
Yes!
talked about okay.
Ah,
Calm down, jeez.
thank the Lord.
What do you mean? That would have
Jesus
been
Christ.
fun.
Oh, shut up.
It was pulled from Paramount's schedule at first. We talked about that last week, I think, quickly, and then it was subsequently pulled from Toronto Film Festival. And I'm not too sad about this, but I'm a little sad. It would have been kind of fun to have something not so serious at TIFF,
Yeah.
New York City mandates COVID vaccinations for all indoor entertainment. Um, I don't know what system they're using to like for people to prove that they've been vaccinated. That's definitely a very big subject of debate with like the idea of like COVID passports and stuff. We kind of mentioned that while talking. We're gonna mention that while talking about Vivo. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's definitely a smart thing, especially with people being like a little weary of Delta.
Yeah.
Um, and that was shown by the Suicide Squad's opening, which only got to 26.5 million. Um, I think projections were as high as like 70 million, which consider actually I think they were more 30-ish million, but
Well, I mean,
probably
what's it
even
called?
lower
It
than
was
that.
released August 5th, right? It's already made $72 million, so it's not doing too bad at the moment. So,
What?
with
Well,
all things
internationally, I think domestically only made 26.5 so far.
yeah, but I mean, keep in
Um,
mind that there are still a lot of areas of the world where the pandemic is still raging pretty hard. So, like we're not out of this yet. So I'm not
yeah, I know.
entirely shocked, so it's
Yeah,
totally
but it
okay.
also kind of shows, especially in America, that more people are trying to stay home amid Delta. So,
Yeah.
which is a little weary for other Hollywood projects trying to get released.
Yeah.
Um, Apple landed Matthew Vaughn's star-studded spy film Argyle, which has Henry Cavill, Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, John Cena, and Samuel L. Jackson starred the globe-trotting adventure that follows the world's greatest spy.
Yeah.
Is Henry Cavill supposed to be the world's greatest spy? Assuming that's
Probably.
because he was listed first.
Yeah.
Because out of all these people, you pick Henry Cavill?
Well, I mean,
Really?
Henry Cavill was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., that other spy movie that kind of flew under the radar, but that one wasn't too bad. It was fun enough, So I mean, he's a big name actor as well. So I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is maybe my most one of my more exciting announcements. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but Searchlight, Fox Searchlight is making a film called The Menu, which will have Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
But then Nicholas Hoult is going to be in that as well, playing I think
Great.
Anya's
Yeah.
husband. I don't know what that's exactly supposed to be about, but it also
Yeah.
looked like Nicholas Hoult has been cast in Universal's Dracula film, which, if I remember correctly, is going to be directed by Chloe Zhao. And its name at the moment appears to be Renfield. Wait, actually no, this is a different one. It's Chris McKay, the director of the Tomorrow War. Never mind. And also, he did the Batman film. Never mind. Scratch everything I just said. I don't care about this announcement at all. Whatever. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're
cool.
done with
All right,
news.
well,
Let's move on. All right. For those of you who are still around, we'll quickly tell you what we're gonna be talking about next week. Aiden, what is your specific recommendation?
Well, after much consideration, and by much consideration, I mean like just like that.
A Google search.
I would like to talk about yeah, I would like to talk about the. I don't know. Is it really a sequel to Suicide Squad?
It's not. It's a soft reboot, I'd call it.
Soft reboot to Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's basically yeah. It's essentially that. I want to talk about the Suicide Squad. You see, it's different because it has a the in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I can't wait to see it so we can talk about it. And Daniel, I think I know you told me what you're going to recommend, but why don't you tell our esteemed audience
Yeah.
members?
So, I'll be leaving for up north for a little bit, but before I do, we're gonna be
Yeah.
watching one of the most epic pieces of content for 2021, and that is The Kissing Booth 3. One of my most anticipated films of the year is coming Wednesday to Netflix. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's gonna be amazing.
I am not.
It's
So
gonna be great. One of the most
that's going to
acclaimed
be quite the send off.
gonna
That's
be
for
one of the
sure.
best acclaimed trilogies of Netflix trilogies, because they have like one.
Are they going to cap it at 3? I really hope they do.
I feel like they are.
Oh God. Okay.
I don't know if I feel like they only got them for 3 on a contract. I don't know if Joey King and Jacob Elordi want to go through the awkwardness.
Well, yeah, because
A
they're not
fourth
even talking
time.
together anymore. How awkward must that be for them? Like Jesus
It's
Christ.
definitely a bit. I have to imagine it was definitely a bit awkward.
Like, hey, what's up? I guess we gotta
Yeah.
pretend we're dating now again, eh?
Yeah. What the?
And then he says with his thick Australian accent, "Yeah, I guess we do, mate.
I guess.
Yeah, wanna pretend we're dating again."
But yeah, it's gonna be great. The trailer
Yeah.
looked amazing, so I'm very looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
then we're also gonna be seeing something in theaters together first time, so we'll have a shared theater experience to talk about. That is gonna be The Green Knight.
Mm.
Uh, I've seen it already, but I'm gonna see it twice. That's how interested I am in the movie
Yeah.
overall. Um, it's gonna be the first movie I've seen twice in theaters. I don't think I haven't done that with any other movie.
And it'll be
But
my first time seeing it, and I'm very excited. I've been looking
yeah,
forward to this film
directed by
for quite a
David
while.
Lowery, starring Dev
Oh
Patel.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, um, all right. We'll see you guys then.